Hey, so who's on? We got one person on. Oh, I think I need to turn something on so you can message me. Oh, Rodrigo. Are you on, Rodrigo? I don't know if I can hear you if you are. Oh,
I haven't turned any lights on, but we're open.
hey, I'll try to show you some the stuff that we're working on here, Rodrigo.
Okay.
I'm talking to a guy online.
Oh,
Are you here for the meetup? Because you'll be the one live person, and we've got one remote person.
oh, okay, sure. Just think, this time next year,
We want to be.
it'll all be VR. You
wanna
don't
be
even
on
have to
camera?
come down here.
Well, I was hoping we could get a few people down here.
I think with the, I don't know, there's something's happening tomorrow. I don't know that.
Oh, yeah. Something to do with the meetups?
No, something to do with the exploiting of the indigenous population and the murder of the 80 million Aboriginal people.
All right.
I don't know, some kind of Caucasian celebration of that. I don't know.
All right, I'm going to try to show the Raspberry Pi project that I've got here, and you'll just have to keep messaging me on the Hangout to see if we get any feedback. I turned on the Q&A, so it's supposed to be, if you click on Q&A, Rodrigo, you should be able to click on Q&A and type messages to me. Like, they would show up as questions. Anyway, try it if you can. This is a Raspberry Pi, and it has a Wi-Fi adapter, and it also has an LCD added on. And this is sort of the equivalent of war driving in 2015, which is, and I'll show you this as well, power this on, and I can drive around with it or whatever, and it will look for mesh networks. Not just regular Wi-Fi, but mesh networks. So these are networks that are trying to extend, and I've got one here that's plugged into my new switch. My desktop computer is connected to it. Anyway, this thing is shortly going to turn on, and what I did is I gave it some code that would beep when there was a mesh network in range. I really don't know if I'm talking to anyone. Rodrigo, I would love it if you found a way to beat me. Okay, it's just starting to come online. It takes a minute to boot. So it should light up the display and beep because there's a mesh network nearby. All right, so there it's working. And I wonder if any of that will show up if I get super close. Okay, it's backwards for me, but I think for everyone else it would be forwards. So it's showing one LAN address and one call sign, and the LAN address is it's resolved both of them now. So it's found two nodes, and it sorts them, the closest node and then the farthest node. It's probably the beeping probably makes it so you can't hear me talk, but it's found these networks, and then as you're going, it also is logging where it finds them, and it's using this GPS. It's an old Microsoft GPS 360 back in the day. I'm going to unplug the beeper. And so this is just a very basic GPS, and you can plug it in and then just turn on a serial GPS on the Raspberry Pi. So that's my thing. And what I did is I plotted out all these mesh networks that I found as I drove around, and I was able to put those on a Google Earth projection.
Ooh.
So it's fun. You can see who's trying to do mesh networks and where you might reach them, and you can look at the clusters and you can kind of figure out what the spread pattern is.
Can you then inform them? Because most of them are probably unaware of the mesh network next door.
Yeah, I did.
And
there's a Facebook. Unfortunately, we're not using the mesh to talk yet. So we go to Facebook and we say, "Hey, I saw your node online, and here's the map," and everyone gets excited. But none of our meshes are close enough to talk to each other. Well, maybe like a couple nodes here and there can talk to each other.
well, yeah, but the thing is, then you know when to go out and rent a telephone pole or a tree from somebody, so that you can run one intermediary between the two to link.
Yeah. It also turned up some really interesting results because there are some parts of the valley where you can see mesh nodes that you know are really far away, like you're on a bench or something, and you just somehow get a clean shot at one of these on the floor of the valley.
You know, that'd be great if you could hook up to somebody that's like on Utopia with, 150 up and 200 down or whatever it is.
Yeah. There's a limiting factor, of course, the Wi-Fi if you've got a really good signal, it's 10 megabits. But you're not going to have a good signal if they're halfway across the valley and you've got a directional antenna and they've got an Omni. So that's one of my projects, and
That's cool.
I'll show off one of the others. This one is it's a Raspberry Pi with a single board. So the one that I just showed you, it's using a Grove Pi. So there's a daughter board here, and then it has lots of ports to put sensors and output devices. And I have sensors. Let's see, what have I got plugged in? I've got a buzzer device plugged in. I've got the LCD plugged in, and I think I also have a temperature plugged in, but I'm not using it yet. Temperature sensor.
Okay, and that is the board that Dwayne is building for the ESP.
He's
Is
doing
his
something
daughter-
similar.
Yeah,
He's doing something similar.
for more hookups. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the Grove Pi, and then the other board. I don't know if this one has a nice, concise name. I'll get an image on the display. It's a two-color display. The top, like 20% of the display is amber, and I think the rest is green for some reason. There's another version of the module you can get that's just all one color, and I would think that's preferable. And then this one has, I'll get super close. It's got a little joystick here. This is the joystick, so you get up, down, left, right, and then there's a center punch. and it's got 3 chips here. One is a real-time clock, one is giving you more GPIOs, and the other one is, what is the other one? I can't remember. I have to remember. Anyway, I'll turn that one on and try to get some things playing. Hey, it's Joel.
Hey. Got the Wi-Fi working?
Not really.
Okay.
I'm just using my broadband on my so.
Yeah. Did the password work? And it's just.
Yeah, it's just too far. Yeah. I did plug in my mesh over there next to that big table that's like an aircraft carrier, and it got link. So I plugged my Ethernet in, but I think it's not getting DHCP through that connection.
Yeah, the coverage on that thing is weird. It really doesn't work inside in some areas, and it works pretty good like right there. The white computer gets pretty good.
Oh, really?
Connection, for instance. So
it might also have a really good antenna. Or
maybe it's just that little USB stick on the top. So.
Oh. Just. We still just have one viewer, the one guy.
Is this a Skype thing or is this?
No, it's called Hangouts on Air.
Okay, Hangouts on Air. Okay.
So it's a broadcast, and it's kind of unfortunate because what I'd really like to have done is have a way so Rodrigo could.
Now, are you recording this also at the same time?
It's being recorded.
So you can
I
just
should have
link
had
it
you
to the page.
Yeah.
So
if
they
it's
can
worth
view it another time.
If it's worth viewing, yeah. I should have had you sign a disclaimer, by the way. You're being recorded on YouTube.
Hey,
you okay with that?
I'm not going to unzip my pants and put out a dick pic, so there's no problem.
Okay. Oh, I wanted to put an image on this thing so you could see it. Oh, so I have 2 viewers. So Ryan Erickson is also on. And Ryan, we couldn't figure out if Q&A is working. It looks like I have a group chat area and I can type messages out, but no one's getting anything back. Thanks, guys. By the way, I had no idea that I was spamming everyone I know when I created the Hangout on Air. I only meant to create the event and then announce it to our group. But it went to everybody I know, including people who have no interest whatsoever in this stuff. Okay, I'm going to hurry and see if I can get this thing to come alive. But I've got to get an HDMI connection to it. So I'm seeing these little messages. They're coming through on my phone, actually. They don't come through on the Hangout at all. So keep them coming. I see beeps. My phone is going beep, beep, beep. Oh, you know what? I need a USB mouse. Do you know where something like that might be?
USB mouse? No, I have not been down here except for 3 nights since the move, so I don't know where everything is.
Well, got a lot over.
All right, so I'm getting this thing plugged in. I've got HDMI. I've got my USB keyboard at the moment, not mouse.
Let's see if that works. Not the best mouse keyboard combo.
Oh, it would be better than nothing for sure. And it's kind of mobile-y and techy and cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's even got a laser pointer.
All right, I'm on board. So it's not going to try to do Bluetooth. It's just going to do some kind of dedicated.
Yeah, it's
RF.
got a proprietary RF. It looks just like the keyboard as far as the is concerned.
Okay, so Joel just handed me this. He's saving me. All right, so is it on?
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's bring on the device. It should have turned on already. I thought the Pi would be on. Oh, probably the Pi is not on because I had it plugged into a port on monitor that now doesn't know anything. It's a chicken and egg, I think, problem. The monitor doesn't want to power anything on USB until it's got a display, until it's got something to display. And the Raspberry Pi, of course, is going to have nothing to display until it has power. All right, so it's coming online. I've got a display with boot messages, and we'll have something shortly here. Someone just messaged me. Thanks for joining, guys. I found that even spamming everyone I know wasn't enough to get more than 2 people to show up. All right, so I've got this little keyboard thing working. I've got a mouse that moves around. And what I'll do is I'll try to run one of the sample programs so we can see the display turn on. So this little board is called Pioneer 600, and the problem that I had with it is the drivers are really hard to reconcile. Like, there are a number of things you have to download, and it's not as well done as most of the, like, Adafruit. If you've done any of the Adafruit stuff, they typically either have a Python module you can install, or they have just a Python script that you just need to have in your folder. Oh, that was a beep. So I'm going into the Pioneer. I should have done this on the other screen. Could I have displayed this? I don't know. Okay, so I ran this little script called animate.py. Let me see if I know how to get this right side up. So there it is. Oh, everything's just at the limits. So the funny thing about this is the animation just barely goes into the orange part of the display. But the animation doesn't seem to be aware that that's happening, so it's not like trying to take advantage. You guys should post questions if you want me to try something. Okay, alright, so let's try one other. Hey, how's it going? We're on the air, just so you know. If you come over and you stand in front of this camera, you'll be recorded on YouTube. We could probably just delete the whole thing after it's over.
Okay.
No one will want to see
The
it.
best solution is probably not walk over in front of the camera. I gotta take a walk.
All right, there's the cat image.
If my talking is nice.
Oh, no, very informal. So what's interesting on this board, we have, this is a buzzer, so we have some input-output. This thing that looks like a transistor is actually a digital temperature sensor, and it's on a one-wire protocol there. So it's got power, ground, and then the middle wire is the one-wire interface. And that goes straight into the chip, unlike some of these other things that have their own dedicated function. Like, for example, in order to get analog in on Raspberry Pi, you have to have a digital converter. Yeah, because it has no analog inputs. Isn't that weird? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, so no one...
I've only played with our Arduino and ESP, and they've all got analog.
Yeah, they've got at least one. I know the ESP8266 has just one analog input, but often that's all you need. So that's this thing, and then I've got also, just for convenience, I've got, this is my Bluetooth, this is Wi-Fi, and this is the adapter that I just plugged in to get that, just the keyboard working from Joel. Okay, well, I think this has been an interesting experiment, but next time I want to be able to turn it over to other people to have them show me what they're working on.
Oh, can you switch to somebody with this?
I don't know. I mean, I know you could do that if it's a hangout. Everyone's talking at once, and it's pretty easy to have everyone just mute while someone's talking and then switch to a different speaker. I have no idea.
Yeah, but how about pick up their camera?
I don't know. Like, if I think the Q&A...
Because I've got a Skype group of 5 guys that we meet up on Fridays to chat. And we can use, it divides the screen up.
Yeah, that's more like a
so
traditional hangout.
So that everybody can, show. The only bad thing about Skype is you can't import a secondary camera. Or at least I haven't figured out a way to do that.
I'm going to try sharing my screen and just see if that works. Ooh, look, we've got the endless mirrors kind of effect going on.
Okay.
I think you need to switch to a different window. But what I'm going to do is show what one of my repos looks like. So I'll go to GitHub.
Now, join is another one I've tried to use.
Is it called join.me?
I don't know. That was join.com. I think that's mostly just so that you can show your desktop.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, not that I ever have problems with the part that doesn't know what he's doing.
Hey, go.
Just checking it out.
So
Oh, nice.
I think we've still got one person on the Hangout. Sure. We've got one viewer. You'll have to tell us on the chat, on the comments, if you can still see this. What I'm trying to do is show some of the code that I wrote, like for the last part, for the mesh detector. That's what this one is. So it's just called Meshy. And this is a Python program that we run on boot. And it just watches, it watches the GPS, and I found that you had to have a thread just watching the GPS. So this is boilerplate from another project that showed how to do that. So I created a class for monitoring the GPS.
But you're just, you're actually projecting your screen here?
Yeah, I think so. I think Ryan should be able to see my screen right now.
Okay, that would be important to know.
Yeah. I think I'm sharing. I told it to share.
Okay.
Yeah. But I can also look at the recording after the fact, and because it'll be so good.
Yeah.
So anyway, coming down here, it starts up the GPS and it puts it in a separate thread and runs that, and then it has this forever loop. And every time it starts by turning off the buzzer, and then it displays what the GPS fix is. I just like to have a little plus sign on the display to tell me that it has a GPS fix.
Okay.
And it'll be a minus if there's no fix. It just turns out this fixed mode is either 1, 2, or 3.
Okay.
It's never 0, but I put 0 in there just in case. And I don't know if my cursor will show, so that's interesting. I'll have to check that out too, to see if this is happening. And then what it does is it goes to a service running on the Raspberry Pi that's part of the mesh service. So it opens the service and it gets a JSON document. The JSON document describes the mesh neighbors. So it's just going to sort the list by link quality. So higher link quality is first. And then it'll go through, and then if it finds something, it'll start beeping. And the beep is actually a function of how good the signal is.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be a long beep if you're near something. It'll just be a blip if it's pretty far away.
Okay.
And then let's see, what does it do? It iterates through the links in the sort order of quality, and it just adds them to what it's displaying on the screen. What it does is it adds the call sign. If it can resolve it, it's putting the call sign. So in order to do this mesh network, you're supposed to have a ham license.
Oh.
And in order to identify what license you're leaning on in order to join the mesh, you put that in a certain place and it advertises it as part of the service. So anyway, I like to see whose call sign it is that we're seeing. And it will only be an IP address if it can't resolve that to a call sign. And then it just displays it on the screen, and then it goes around again.
You need a ham license even if you don't have a certain upper broadcast strength?
Well, what it's doing is channel 1 in the 802.11 2.4 gigahertz spectrum, channel 1 is dual licensed. So it's licensed for people who just want to do Wi-Fi, and it's also licensed for people who want to use it as a ham radio.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to use it for the ham radio function, the broadcast limits are looser, so you can do more with external antennas and.
I did not know this.
Yes.
I was because ham is the ham I'm thinking of is a different slot.
Yeah. So hams get to have some digital spectrum as well as the old chatty ham.
Chatty. Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can switch back to showing my screen. I think I can. I'm just screen sharing and I'll go back.
Yes.
Oh, here we are.
Okay.
And someone has hung in there. We have one viewer. I think I'll just do a hangout next time instead of trying to do a hangout on air.
You mean just verbal?
Yeah, and just have screens from people who are joining.
Okay.
Did you want to add anything? Did you want to show us your projects?
I shut up on time. I don't have to have a project.
What? Oh, we lost our only viewer. I guess we're done here.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we went to chat.
Oh no, we went to 0 and then we went to 1. So they dropped out for a minute and came back.
Yeah, probably the bandwidth or something.
We could make a radio show together, you and I. Our YouTube channel. You be the straight man, and I'll be the jokester. Does that sound okay to everybody?
Sure.
All right.
Well, that works. I mean, I've got the JV mustache. And you look a little bit like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Adam Savage. That's the name I couldn't
Okay, so Ryan said a few minutes ago that he can see. Oh, he can see the cursor. So when we were talking, I was pointing at the code that he could see that. Well, if there's nothing else, guys, I'm going to end the broadcast, and I think I'll move up, Ryan. I think I'll move up the next meetup so it's not that like Christmas Eve is where it is right now.
Yeah.
I think I'll move it up a week if that's not a conflict for me. Oh yeah. So Ryan was briefly off because he tried going full screen and it dropped him.
Okay. Or you could go a week after, and that way they could have their Christmas presents to play with and build.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to check that out. That lands right on like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, that around that point. I'd have to
That's
check the
amateurs
calendar.
night. Nobody's out anyway.
Yeah. Oh look, Ryan's message actually shows up in my active chat.
Oh, excellent. This is getting better and better.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna end the broadcast, but I'll keep the chat window up. You know what, Ryan? We should try just doing a hangout if you have a few minutes. I'm gonna do that.